Today's lesson is looking at what problems did William face after 1066 and which issues were most serious. This is your title. Please write this down in your books along with today's date. Before half term we were looking at the Battle of Hastings and who would become the next King of England. Here is a quick recap to remind you of what we were looking at before Christmas. In 1066, Edward the Confessor, King of England, died without an heir. This meant he had no children to succeed him as king. This created a problem about who was going to be king next. There were three contenders who wanted to be King of England. There was Harold Hardrada, nicknamed the Viking, Harold Godwinson, nicknamed the Englishman, and William of Normandy, nicknamed the Norman. Once Edward died, Harold Godwinson became the King of England. He then had to fight off an invasion from Hardrada at the Battle of Stamford Bridge, which he won. Godwinson then met William of Normandy at the Battle of Hastings, where Godwinson was killed, and William became the new King of England. William of Normandy is now King of England. This lesson is going to focus on the problems that William faced now that he is king. You will be given a series of letters. You need to identify what the problem is in each letter and complete the first column of a table. Once you have identified all the problems, you need to rank them in order of importance, which is completing the second column of the table. Please draw this table in your books. You need to have a column that states letter 1, 2, 3 and 4. You then need to have a second column which says which problems are shown in this letter. And your final column is about how serious is this problem, ranking it from 1 to 4, 1 being the most serious. Let's do letter 1 together. I will read through the letter and you need to think about what problems is William talking about. I am having some real problems that I need your help with. I have recently become the king of a country and I am not sure whether people like me or not. I need to develop some way to control the land and make it secure. How can I do this? I don't want people to hate me even more than they already do. Any advice would be most welcome. Yours, Bill Lacon. What problem do you think William is identifying here in this letter? This letter shows that William is worried about the population and he wants them to like him as king. He needs to make sure that he can control England and make sure that no one else invades. However, he doesn't want to force the people to do something that might hate him even more. So William here is worried about the English people hating him. Now that we have identified what the problem is, we need to fill out our table. You will see here on the table I have filled in, under letter 1, that William was worried about the people of England hating him. He needed to control the country but didn't want to upset people. Please fill this in your letter 1, what problems are shown in this letter. Next, you need to decide how serious do you think this problem is. So if you think this problem is really serious, you would be ranking that 1, and then explain why. If you don't think this problem is that serious, you would be ranking it a 4. Remember, always explain why. Please do this now. Okay, now that we have done letter 1 together, you have an idea of what I'm asking you to do. I will read through letter 2 and then afterwards ask you to pause the video so that you can fill out your table. I'm in charge of a lot of people and I'm beginning to get worried about the expense of looking after so many people. I need to find some way of getting them to give me money. I know I could just take it off them as I am in charge, but I don't want people to see me as greedy. How can I get people to give me money but make sure they know I will spend it well? Many thanks, William Normandy. Now you need to identify what problem is William talking about in this letter. Fill this in on your table. Once you have done that, you need to rank how serious you think this problem is. Fill this in your table as well. Remember to explain why. Pause the video here to complete letter 2. Okay, here is letter 3. Again, I will read through the letter and then ask you to pause the video to complete your table. Letter 3. I need support, and I mean physical support in the form of an army. I am very paranoid and concerned about my security, so would like a nice big army to fight any battles that may come my way. However, I am a bit strapped for cash at this moment, and therefore cannot offer them money. What could I offer people to convince them to fight for me? They won't do it for free. Any advice welcomed, Will Duke. What problem is William talking about in this letter? Fill this in on your table. Once you have done that, you then need to fill in how serious you think this problem is. Pause the video here to complete letter 3. Okay, here is letter 4. Again, I will read through the letter and you will complete the 2 sections of your table. Pupil, I need your advice. I have moved to an area which is really religious. I am religious too, but where I now live, people are really religious and believe that church is the most important aspect of society. I want people to think I am the most important person in society. How can I possibly compete with the church? I await your swift response. William of Normandy. What problem is William talking about in this letter? Fill this in your table. How serious do you think this problem is? Fill this in your table. Pause the video to complete letter 4. Your final task for today's lesson is to write a letter to William. William has written to you explaining his problems. Now you need to write a letter back. Explain to him which his most serious issues are and which ones he needs to deal with first. In red are some sentence starters for you. You need to pick which problem out of the 4 that we have looked at is the most serious and needs to be dealt with immediately. Once you have told William which problem is worse, give him a solution. Tell him how he can fix this. Remember, give him the best advice you can. He may reward you if your advice is good.